The drizzle was relentless, mirroring the grayness that had settled over my life. Manchester wasn't usually this gloomy, but then again, nothing felt usual anymore. Barnaby, a 43-year-old IT specialist, had always prided myself on being a logical man, a problem solver. But this was a problem I didn't know how to fix. It started subtly, like a flickering light bulb you barely notice until it plunges the room into darkness. Elara, my wife of 15 years, a vibrant artist, had become distant. Her laughter, once a constant melody in our home, faded into a strained silence. Her eyes, once sparkling with affection, now held a guarded look, a secret I couldn't decipher. I initially dismissed it as stress. Elara was preparing for a major exhibition, her biggest opportunity yet. The pressure was immense, and I tried to be supportive, offering to handle everything else, the chores, the bills, even taking over the cooking, despite my culinary skills being, shall we say, rudimentary. I made her favorite comfort foods, tried to create a relaxing atmosphere, and showered her with encouragement. But nothing seemed to penetrate the wall she had erected between us. The first real sign that something was terribly wrong came with the phone calls. Elara had always been open about her communication, leaving her phone on the table, answering calls freely in front of me. But now she'd clutch her phone like a precious artifact, hurrying to another room or whispering in hushed tones on the balcony, her back to me. When I asked who she was talking to, she'd brush it off with vague answers: a gallery owner, a potential buyer, just work stuff. One evening I came home early from work, hoping to surprise her with a home-cooked meal. The house was silent. I found Elara's phone on the kitchen counter, face down. A notification flashed. "Laurent wants to meet tomorrow." Laurent? I didn't recognize the name. Curiosity, or perhaps a growing dread, gnawed at me. I knew I shouldn't, but I couldn't resist. I picked up the phone, entered her password, which, admittedly, I knew, and opened her messages. My blood ran cold. Laurent was not a gallery owner or a potential buyer. The messages were filled with intimate exchanges, declarations of love, and plans for secret rendezvous. They had been seeing each other for months. The world seemed to tilt on its axis. My wife, the woman I trusted more than anyone, was having an affair. The words on the screen blurred through my tears. I felt a crushing weight in my chest, a pain so profound it stole my breath. I sank into a chair, the phone slipping from my grasp. How could this be happening? What had I done wrong? I replayed our years together in my mind, searching for clues, for signs I had missed. Had I been so blind, so complacent, that I hadn't noticed my wife falling out of love with me? The questions swirled in my head, a vortex of confusion and despair. Elara arrived home an hour later, her face flushed, her eyes bright. "Barnaby, you're home early," she said, a forced cheerfulness in her voice. I couldn't meet her gaze. I stood up, my hands trembling, and held out her phone. "Who is Laurent?" I asked, my voice barely a whisper. Her face paled. She snatched the phone from my hand and stared at it, her silence a deafening confirmation. "Barnaby," she stammered, her eyes darting around the room, searching for an escape. "It's not what you think, not what I think," I repeated, my voice rising. "I read the messages, Elara, I know everything." Tears streamed down her face. "I am sorry," she sobbed. "I didn't mean for it to happen." "Mean for it to happen," I exploded. "You've been lying to me for months. How could you do this to me, to us?" She launched into a series of excuses. She felt neglected. She needed excitement. Laurent understood her in a way I didn't. But her words were hollow, empty justifications that did nothing to ease the pain. I didn't want to hear her excuses. I didn't want to hear anything she had to say. The woman I loved, the woman I thought I knew, had shattered my world into a million pieces. That night I barely slept. I tossed and turned, haunted by the images of Elara and Laurent together. The betrayal was a knife twisting in my gut. I couldn't bear to be in the same room as her. I spent the night on the sofa, staring at the ceiling, my mind racing with anger, sadness, and disbelief. In the morning, Elara tried to talk to me, to apologize again, but I couldn't face her. I packed a bag and left. I moved into a small flat in the city center, a sterile, impersonal space that reflected the emptiness I felt inside. I threw myself into my work, burying myself in code and spreadsheets, trying to numb the pain. But it was no use. Everywhere I looked, I saw reminders of Elara, a painting she had given me, a book we had read together, a song that used to be our song. I confided in my friend, Quentin, a former colleague who had gone through a similar experience. He listened patiently, offering words of comfort and support. "Barnaby, you can't let this destroy you," he said. "You're a good man. You deserve better." Quentin encouraged me to seek counseling to talk through my feelings with a professional. I was hesitant at first, but I eventually agreed. The therapist helped me to process my emotions, to understand that Elara's actions were not a reflection of my worth. It was a long and difficult process, but slowly I began to heal. Meanwhile, Elara's exhibition was a huge success. Her paintings were praised by critics and snapped up by collectors. She seemed to be thriving while I was struggling to put my life back together. I couldn't help but feel a pang of bitterness. How could she be so happy, so successful after what she had done? One evening, a few months after I had moved out, I received a call from an unknown number. It was Elara. Her voice was trembling. "Barnaby, I need your help," she said. "Something terrible has happened. Lauren had left her. He had used her, exploited her success, and then dumped her for a younger artist. She was devastated, heartbroken, and alone. She had lost everything: her husband, her lover, and now her sense of self-worth. "I know I don't deserve it, but can you ever forgive me?" she pleaded. I hesitated. Part of me wanted to lash out, to tell her she deserved everything that was happening to her. But another part of me, the part that still loved her, felt a flicker of sympathy. I had spent years with this woman. We had shared so much. I couldn't simply erase her from my life. "I don't know, Elara," I said. "I need time to think." I hung up the phone and sat in silence, wrestling with my emotions. Could I ever forgive her? Could I ever trust her again? The answer, I realized, was no. The damage was too deep, the betrayal too profound. But I could offer her something else: compassion. I called her back the next day and told her that I couldn't reconcile, but that I would be there for her as a friend. I helped her find a new apartment, offered her emotional support, and even attended her next exhibition. It wasn't easy, but I knew it was the right thing to do. Elara eventually moved to another city, seeking a fresh start. We stayed in touch, occasionally exchanging emails or phone calls. She never stopped regretting her affair, and she always expressed her gratitude for my forgiveness. I too moved on with my life. I started dating again, cautiously at first, but eventually I met someone new: a kind, intelligent woman named Genevieve who appreciated my honesty and integrity. We built a strong and loving relationship, based on trust and mutual respect. Looking back, I realized that Elara's affair, while devastating at the time, had ultimately made me a stronger person. It had taught me the importance of self-worth, the resilience of the human spirit, and the power of forgiveness. It had also shown me that sometimes the greatest act of revenge is not to seek retribution, but to rise above the pain and create a better life for yourself. The rain has stopped now, and a sliver of sunlight is peeking through the clouds. Manchester still feels like home, but it's a different kind of home, one built on a foundation of newfound strength and wisdom. I learned that even the deepest betrayals can be overcome, and that even in the darkest of times, there is always hope for a brighter future. My story could be a cautionary tale, a reminder that infidelity can shatter even the strongest of bonds, but also a testament to the human capacity for healing and growth. Sometimes the worst things that happen to us can lead us to a better version of ourselves, if we allow them to. I am grateful for the lessons learned, and I embrace the future with an open heart, ready to love again, but this time with a clearer understanding of what I deserve. I hope my experience can offer solace or a new perspective to anyone facing a similar heartbreak. Remember, you are not alone, and you are worthy of love and happiness.